Have you ever wondered if it's possible to take a company from $200 to $10 million? It is. And my next guest right here is going to tell you how it all happened. All right, so I got Gilbert right here in the Roofer's Den from United Roofing. Gilbert, what's going on, man?
Not much. How you doing, Patrick?
And I'm doing really good. I am really excited to have you here, not just because you guys are a new client of ours, but because I think you bring a wealth of knowledge to the roofing industry. I've been able to see some of your videos. I believe you got some videos up there on YouTube, on some of the social media stuff.
Yeah, we produce a bunch of videos, and we still got a bunch of them that we haven't really put them out there, but we have a couple of them, and I actually have one of my guys who's not here right now that is gonna be here. Rich, who is the one helping us, actually is the guy on the video himself. I'm not a video guy myself.
But you do such a good job on that stuff, man. I think it's just a great example to start with, and let's jump into your history after this. But you guys get out there, you get in front of the houses, you tell the people what the heck is going on. For homeowners, it builds trust. It just, I've said on this show before, if you're not doing digital marketing, if you're not replicating yourself digitally out there, you're losing in the roofing game. And I think it's, part of the reason, and we're going to jump into all the reasons United has been so successful, and also you personally. But it was really cool to see you out there, man, because you do such a great job of just breaking it down for homeowners. What's going on, how you guys are doing it, what makes you different. And I think you do an incredible job out there, man. So props to you, buddy.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's jump into you. Tell me, I love your videos. I'm excited to talk to you because I know you have a wealth of knowledge in the industry and sales. How do you get to where you're at right now? Can you kind of give me a brief history of kind of who you are and where you're at now?
So, well, my name is Gilbert. I'm in Virginia, Northern Virginia, and this is where I started my first roofing business. It was in Northern Virginia. I now have operations in Connecticut and Florida and all that, but started in Virginia, and I was in the car business before. So
Cars.
I spent about 10 years in the car business, not in sales themselves, but actually in the service department.
Okay.
Where I was a service advisor, which I think is the toughest job in the car industry, to be honest. This is you're dealing with 30 people a day or more, and they all want their cars to be fixed, and they don't want to pay money for it. So it's very difficult to deal there. I take my hats off to those guys. They just 7 to 7 and
bell to bell, man, right?
Saturdays and Sundays. So
yep, I know it. I've been in that world.
So it's for me, those are the toughest dudes ever, right? If I can get a couple of those guys on my team, we'll be set. Mm-hmm. With that type of work ethic that they have. Yeah. So that's I used to be in the car business, and I was making $100,000 every year, $120,000 every year, and every year I was more in debt, right? So I was like, what am I doing wrong? I had my target was so small. I remember I came here when I was 13 years old to United States, right?
Where'd you come from?
Venezuela.
Venezuela.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So, I come here when I was 13 years old, and, I'm talking to everybody. Everybody's target, it seems to be around me, $100,000, right? Mm-hmm. You want to make $100K, buy a house, get a car, live the American dream, right? I was like, all right, so I set that target for myself. I actually set it up for 120, and I was able to accomplish that within, probably years, in the car business. And, once I got to that point, I was like, I was the most miserable guy in the world. Like, there was just like, money wasn't enough. It's one of those things that, I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And it wasn't until I started educating myself and, using the snow days to go to the Barnes and Nobles and spend time there and researching. And it's like, they got to be more than just this. I mean, I come from this country that's completely messed up. I come here, this feels messed up too. So what am I doing wrong? What does it really capitalist mean? You know what I mean? So sure. I started looking into those things, and I definitely, found the information. If you search, you find it. It just, everything is out there. And that's when, my targets became a little bit bigger, and my thoughts became like, hey, you know what? If somebody else can do this, I can definitely do this, right? So, that being said, I had a baby. Me and my wife, we had a baby. It was in,
Congratulations, man.
yeah. So well, he's 5 years old now, but that was in
Okay.
2015. So I had when we had the baby, we moved back to my mother's house and my father's house, and we went back to their basement. And, and that's when I was even more miserable. Right. So I was like, dang, this is tough. It's, I was like, I got to find a way to do this. And honestly, it's kind of like a spiritual thing, because I remember one day I dressed up nicely. I put a suit on. I said, you know what? At that point, I quit my job and I said, I want to do something different. I have a baby. I have awesome parents that were like, hey, you can come here, stay here. That, they're always back me up with whatever I want to do. So went back there. I was like, you know what? I'm quitting this job because I'm working 7 days a week. The days off that I have, I barely have time to go to DMV and then come take a nap, and that's it, right? So, I was like, I have to quit this. I have no idea what I was gonna do. So, after about 4 or 5 months into researching, I was like, all right, I'm gonna go back to the car business because I couldn't really see anything, right? So, I remember throwing a suit on, tied, and I went to go get a job because I've done it before. I can get a job. I got fired from like many dealerships before. So
Okay.
so I was used to knowing. I know how to talk to the
man.
manager, get a job, right? So and then I remember I was driving by this company. And I see a sign. It's a roofing company. It says hiring sales guys. I was like, huh, let me go and check this out. So I drive in there. And it was just like, like I said, I did my prayers before leaving the house, and I said, you know what, God, you will put me in the right path, and that was like exactly what happened. Like I go there, I walk into this place. The owner was there, who's like he's never there. So I start talking to him, and he's like, hey, I was like, hey, I'm looking for a job. I'm probably the greatest salesman you ever seen. Okay, so so he was like, I was like, he was like, yeah, let me show you how it is. So he walked me into the office. He started telling me about this guys that they're making $2 million in sales. And then I can make 10% off that. And, it only takes about a year to get going. I was like, okay, where do I sign? When do I start? That was a Tuesday, I remember. And Wednesday was going to start the training. So I was like, I'll be here tomorrow to learn this. Because for me, it was like, how are they able to sell $2 million worth of roofs? And now I come from the car industry, but as I was in the car business, I was doing contracting work. I was already a licensed contractor. So on my times off, and when I had the time off, I was doing kitchens, bathrooms, and I used to, when I was 18 years old, actually 16 years old, I was working as a painter, doing drywall, doing sheetrock, learning all the construction stuff. I worked for many, like maybe 2-3 construction companies that basically did everything. They were general contractors. So I was automatically, because I spoke English and Spanish, I was a team leader, right? So I was able to know the whole process of construction. So I knew if I can get the job, I can get it done, right? So I started doing that, and when I went in there, I was like, I need to know how these guys are selling $2 million worth of roof. If I can sell $2 million worth of roof, I'm set, right? So I go in there, they put a video on, they show me the insurance industry. I had no idea it existed at that point. I was like, whoa. I was like, there we go. And it made total sense to me, the insurance way, because coming from the car industry, I know I had to deal with, in the service department, I had to deal with insurance work. I had to deal with warranties. So I was all day with them on the phone, supplementing stuff that it was such a big thing in the car business, and it works exactly the same in the car business as in the roofing business. So for me, it was like, I just watched that video, and I remember going back home and telling my wife, I was like, I started Wednesday, and Thursday I told my wife, I was like, hey, I'm starting a roofing business. So she was like, all right, great. Sounds good to me. I was like, all right, great. So, I kept working there for about 3 to 4 months, and the 10% actually turned out to be 2%. Okay, so I was like, whoa, man. I mean, like, in my first month, I go out there and sell 150,000. Second month, $200,000 for this company, right? So I'm like, 2%. I was like, oh yeah, you will get to 10%, but you got to work your way through. And I understood that, but I was like, man, I got a kid, I got another one on the way, and I'm in my mother's basement. Okay. And the thing that messed me up was that once I started selling this work, and the company looked great, and it had a great logo and a great website and everything, all the sales guys looked amazing. The day of construction, a bunch of guys showed up that I never seen before, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I come from the construction world. So when I start seeing the work, and I'm telling this homeowner, because I go in there with confidence and I know I'm going to put a roof on, I'm going to put it on correctly. And, my main focus is to do the roof the right way. Okay.
Sure.
That's, you can tell whatever you want to this homeowner, you want to make sure you do a good job. So when I start seeing the poor work that we're doing, and I had to, like, as a sales guy, get on the roof and tell them, hey, why aren't you guys putting drip edge on the, on the sides? Why aren't you guys not putting the, the underlayment correctly? Why you guys are not using cap nails? Why are you guys using, nail guns to put the ridge cap on and all this stuff? So, I'm like, I felt like it was screwing my, as a human being, reputation. I'm telling this homeowner, we're sending certified, roofers and all that stuff to your house. And this big company was just sending random, roofing guys, you know what I mean? Like, so I was like, all right, I have to make a change. So I started getting connected with the best roofers in the area, the best crews, the guys with the license, the guy with the certifications, the guys that I know I was able to go see their jobs. They were doing fantastic work. And that's, once I had a nice network of those guys, that's when I decided to go into the roofing business. And it was easy after that because, anybody can sell a free roof. Okay. It's basically, I call it a free roof because insurance companies paying for it. If somebody can listen to you for 5 minutes, actually for 1 minute, and you look somehow trustworthy and do what you say you're gonna do, then it's very simple. I have taught guys to do this that they come from like the most random industries out there. So so that's how I got into the roofing business. Until now, my main priority is to make sure we build these things right. Make sure we build, the systems correctly, make sure that all the warranties are, will apply to this roof. It's the most important part of the house. And we don't just do roofing. We want to start with the free roof. Basically, we get the insurance company to pay for it. And then we're going to go ahead and let you know about the windows that we install, let you know about the siding. And, for the most part, if you can show the homeowner that they can trust your company, that you do a good job, then, even if they don't do it with us, they called us like, hey, there's a company out here that's offering windows and stuff like that. And I want to ask, they call that. I have homeowners that they still call me, asking me for, what do you think about this and all that, because you do what you say you're going to do. You know what I mean?
That's right.
So
I'll tell you this, man. I'm Kenny. What is or maybe is it called Aston Martin or Aston Martin, the car, right? Aston Martin, is that the name of it?
I thought it was Aston Martin.
Oh, Aston. Okay.
I got the worst freaking accents. I don't know.
So here, I'm going to tell you this story about the one thing that selling cars taught me about selling roofs. Okay, because I can't even pronounce the damn car's name. Okay. All right. So here's what I was doing, Gilbert. I was working at Infinity Jaguar in south part of Orlando. Okay, and attached to that dealership was an Aston Martin dealership, and so I was a volume guy. I don't know what kind of dealership you worked at, but this was kind of a volume Infinity Jaguar thing. You were trying to, get as many as we could. This wasn't like 1 or 2 cars a day. And so it's right next to Mall Millennia down here in Orlando, which is a big mall, big touristy thing, all that. And so here I am, man. I'm trying to do bell to bells, 7 to 7, working all the time. But I'm watching these luxury guys next door, and I'm looking at them thinking, these guys are trying to sell 1 car a month. Because, that's a $320,000 car. And I'm thinking, how are they getting somebody? This is circa, man, we're talking maybe 2008 and 9. Economy is going downhill, but they're getting people to buy these cars. So I said, I got to learn something from these guys. There must be something they're doing to get somebody to buy a $320,000 car that I can get somebody to buy a $30,000 car over here. It's got to be a better principle that I'm not learning. And here's what I went over there and I watched. True story here. I'm watching this guy take somebody around the car, and he goes down he says, come here, kneels down below, and he gets there, and he's showing him the stitching in the seat, and he starts going down stitch by stitch. He says, every one of these stitches was done by somebody, right hand, just going through it just like this. This is the kind of craftsmanship that you want. And so I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, this is unbelievable. Every part of this car put together by somebody. Now, afterwards, I asked the guy, I'm like, is that stitching like really that good? He's like, not really. He's like, in fact, the machines that probably do the Infinity one probably do a better job of stitching. But I wanted somebody to feel emotionally invested in what they're doing right here. This is their seat. It was done by this person, and it showed them what was going on. In roofing sales, you've probably seen this as well. I've seen people go to somebody's door and not even show them what's wrong with their roof. You got to get out there and show people. You guys do this with your video. Let me show you what the underlayment problem is. Let me show you where your drip edge issue is. Let me show you where your tile and the hail damage is going to be at. I just learned that you gotta get out there and you've got to make people a part of the sale. Show them what is going on with their roof. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but that was one of the lessons that I learned from the car business.
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, dealing with so many people a day, like 30, 25, at least I had to deal with 25 customers a day. I started noticing patterns, right? And you notice that the guy that came with the big Tundra when I was working at a Toyota dealership, right?
Okay.
Comes with the big Tundra with the big tires and, the lights and all that stuff. Automatically, I know that this person is a passionate person about his car, right? So its emotion is passion. Come out, holy crap, this is the biggest tires I ever seen, right?
Exactly.
Oh, bam, I'm walking around. You put a lift kit? No, yes. Okay, great, right? So that guy is a passionate person. That's the emotion you're gonna use to go through your process, right?
Yep.
And then you have the person that comes in the Corolla, right? Is worried about fuel economy, make sure that all the ratings are right, that the car doesn't have, a Corolla is like you can't go wrong with that. Good gas mileage, great reviews and all that stuff. So I know this person is has a little bit more fear in it,
Sure.
like,
yeah,
hey, the emotion is gonna be fear. It's like, hey, how you doing today? And then you're gonna show them that the most what I do in that case is how would I show them that they feel okay, they're in good hands. We're gonna make sure that we do their oil change, do this, make sure the car is back in the road correctly, safely, without them having to spend a bunch of money, right? They want to know that I'm there to take care of them, right? Because they're already they got a little bit of fear, so
they're worried.
They're worried, right?
Yeah,
So
I get it.
I want to make sure that they don't. Okay, so I go above and beyond, and all this translates to the roofing business. I go knock on a door, and I automatically know, within a few sentences or a conversation that, if this person is worried about, like the questions are, is my insurance premium gonna go up? I already know that they're not, right? They're doing a when in hell claim. Is am I liable for anything if somebody falls off my roof? Here we have a piece of paper that shows that we'll be 100% liable for that. So,
can you talk? I don't want to interrupt you. Can you talk a little bit, because I want to go into that? Can you talk about the difference in working with you? What is the difference between working with a company like yours as compared to the competition out there? Because you guys are truly doing something right.
Well, go back to doing the work correctly. Okay. So, you go into a neighborhood. Anybody can mimic you. Anybody can get a truck with the logos on it, with the shirt, and look good, right?
Sure.
But when they give you the opportunity to do the job, you do it right. Okay. I think that's the most important part of it. It's just making sure they're doing it right, because all the neighbors are watching. All the neighbors. So they're giving you the opportunity on one of their houses in that community, make sure you shine. So I think that's the biggest thing. We come in there, we make sure that the house is clean. We do a thorough quality control check. You're seeing my sales guys are very involved in the construction of the houses. They go there, they take pictures, they're showing the homeowner the process. So this is some of the things that, it is very easy for us to get referral or work referral base. Because you're doing a good job. It goes down to doing a good job, and that's gonna set you apart from the competition. Because anybody can try to mimic you. Anybody can try to, there's like 100 United Roofings out there. Okay, so we want to make sure that the way we stand out is by doing focus on our craft, which is putting roofs on, putting siding on, gutters and windows. And again, if you messed up, you stand behind and take care of it, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's there's no mimics to that. That's as simple as that is,
It's really incredible to be able to work with you. My company, My Claims Care, is able to work with you, and I've been able to see some of the quality that you guys have out there. It's second to none. And I think it does start with what you said. It starts in the beginning, as you said, from the sales process and all the things that you learned and the quality of the sale that you put into. But you guys really have done a great job of the expectation meeting the reality. What you put on and the production mimics what you put into sales. I think one of the problems that many teams have out there is they have great sales teams, but they don't have the production to back it up. And so what ends up happening is they promise somebody the world, time for a ripoff, and then that sales rep is nowhere to be found, or they don't have the knowledge necessary to be able to facilitate answering questions and making the homeowner feel good about the process. Because things are going to go wrong during that ripoff. Things inevitably could go south somewhere. It could be something as, hey, listen, there's some rot that we weren't able to see, and now we've got to replace that. In some cases, that could be a charge for the homeowner. Well, listen, if you explain it to them, if you show it to them, if you walk them through, this is why we need to do it for you. We're doing this to your benefit, and here's why. Most of the time, people understand it. But as you know, there's companies out there that they don't know what's going on the roof. And then, there's somebody's slapped with a $350 charge at the end. And that's where you get into trouble with individuals.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I said that you got to set up expectations correctly. I mean, as some guys, and I had guys that I hired from other companies before, they'll come in and their expectations are, hey, we're doing a roof for free for you, because that's what they call it, or we're doing a roof through the insurance company. And they think because the insurance company is paying and not the homeowner, that the quality of service drops, right? And that's where we're mistaken. We're getting paid. And one of the things that I always bring up is like, when we go to, any nice restaurant, Ruth Chris or anything like that, where the steaks are $200, right? It's $200 for a steak. What type of service you gotta expect out of that place? Awesome service, right?
Absolutely.
Because you're spending $200. Now, our products are, $20, $40, $50,000, $100,000 roofs. So what I tell my guys is their service needs to be exceptional. It needs to be the best. I mean, this is not a $200 steak. This is a $100,000 roof. Okay. So this is one of those things that I brought from the car industry. Service, my pay plan was very attached to customer service. So, I needed to make sure I was doing it right to make sure I get paid. Right. So that's one of the good qualities I brought, other than, from the car industry, plus the work ethics. Nobody works harder than those guys, I think. Like, they're just amazing. So
I agree. Listen, I got out of car sales. I mean, because I saw what the top guys were making, but I also saw the hours that they were putting in, day out. And I used to think, I mean, this. I mean, there were people that would haggle me over price, and I'd be thinking to myself, this is what we call it, a mini, I think was back in the day. I'm like, man, you're beating me up. I'm making a few $100 on this deal, man. I've been working with you all day long, and you're trying to beat me up over the price a little bit more at the very end here. Come on, bro. Yeah. It was just the industry. You're right. There's some hardworking people in car sales. Shout out to them.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Those are the sales guys that I'm trying to bring into my company.
I agree with you. I mean, heck with medical sales and those people. Yeah. I'm talking about car sales. Those guys get it right there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I had guys before. I never got into the car sales part of it because I'm a very mechanical person. I like working with my hands. That's why I'm like, I focus on the construction more than, the sales part of it. And I know, well, sales is like, 80% of everything, right? But I found out that this guy sell a $40,000 car and they make $400, $500. I couldn't believe that.
There you go. Yep.
You come in the car industry, you sell a $40,000 roof, you're walking out of here with like $5,000. Okay, on one roof. Yeah. Okay. so that's 100% more than what they're making. And honestly, the hours are very flexible. You're running your own time. I mean, like for me, I don't see myself doing anything else other than roofing. I mean, this is the American dream. You know, it's like you run your own time. You out there. You're actually helping people. You're raising the price of their homes. You're putting a good roof on it. You're standing behind it. Most people don't even know they have damage. I mean, you know, I'll tell you, some of the few houses I went to, you know, I remember going to neighborhoods where like they were a little bit more lower class.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the people that they don't get it. You know, they think you're scamming or something. You know, they're like, there's no way I have a leak here and a bucket here. And now you're telling me you're going to help me get this to the insurance. And based on the damage you find, it's going to go through. It's like 100%. Right.
Yeah.
You know, and I had this old lady, this old Spanish lady I was helping. She was saving for 10 years. She was saving a little bucket. Like, she had a like a little picket thing for her roof, and it's like, hey, and she showed me, it's like, this is for a roof I'm trying to do, and if you get me this done, it's like, this is all for me. Like, all I gotta pay is 500. I was like, absolutely, you got hell of a wind damage in the front and the back. Until now, I can go to that lady's house and she'll make me breakfast. Okay, she's like, you know, she's so thankful that, like, you know, I was able to come along and help her with this. And you know, I was reading a book by Zig Ziglar one time, and it explains how, like, I read it at the beginning when I started my business, was you have a business when you bring more value than anything else. Okay, so if your business has value, then it will do good, no matter how bad you are, right? So in the sense of, you know, when I saw the roofing industry, I was like, wait a minute, the first people that I did the roof for was my mom and my dad, right? So I was like, let me make sure this is real. And they were like, months before that, we had somebody bring us a quote for $20,000, right, for that same roof. And they didn't say anything about the insurance company. They didn't get up on the roof. They got on the attic. They took some pictures. They said, you got to get all the plywood and the roof, $20,000. If you don't know, if you're a homeowner, most people are paying this money, and they're not getting the chance to get their roof checked at least once by an insurance claim specialist, you know? So that's for me, it was like, wait a minute, I have so much more value than this company's trying to just take $20,000, $15,000 from a lady like the one I just helped, right? So that's how I went full bore, and you know, there's no looking back since then. So
isn't that incredible that the people who probably need insurance the most are so hesitant to use it? Like, you know, like you just said, that lady you were able to help, she maybe didn't think that she even had a shot at using insurance.
Absolutely not.
Because she's thinking, okay, I just got a little leak in my roof. I'm not going to get the whole thing replaced, and I can't afford to repair it. So here I am, you know. But yet, and so they end up losing. And then you get contractors who come in there and they're like, well, I'll give you a great deal. You know, it's a $20,000 roof. I'll do it for 17 grand. I mean, and that just crushes people.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
You are 100% correct that having a contractor like you guys to be able to come in there and say, hold on now, maybe you do need a repair. Maybe you do need to have it replaced. But either way, we're going to take care of you. There's not enough of that, man. There needs to be more of that in the roofing industry.
I think so. I mean, like, you know, we market for retail.
Yeah.
And, you know, I had guys that came from other companies, and I see everything that goes through my company, through my CRM, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at every picture. I want to make sure all the pictures are taken, front, back, side. It's like I'm there on every single house, right? And I'm calling my sales guys like, hey, what happened with this gazebo? Are they approving this or not, right? So I have a general manager that does it, and I'm in the background over here in my home office also doing that, right? So we had jobs where, like, I'm looking at the pictures and there's wind damage or blowing shingles everywhere. Okay. And this is an example, probably happened 2 years ago. Okay. We had a house that we saw the roof for $22,000. My sales guy went there. He showed the roof. The homeowner said, yes, great, let's do it. He signed up for it. I look at the pictures and there was damage everywhere. Damage that I know was caused by a storm. Now, we already have the money here. We're ready to build the house. But I just feel a moral responsibility to call this homeowner, okay? And tell him, like, hey, I know we're doing a roof in your house. I want to schedule your work for, next month. I just want to let you know, but based on the pictures my guys took, you do have a lot of damage. And I want to know, did you file a claim and you just paying us out of pocket, or
Maybe denied, something like that.
or you got denied or anything like that. I just wanted to find out, right? And he told us like, no, I didn't use my insurance. Why won't my insurance pay? It's a 20-year-old roof. I was like, well, because it's a 20-year-old roof, but it got wind damage. It got hail damage. I can see it on pictures. I mean, like, I'll take your $22,000, but I think you should give it a shot to the insurance because they might just pay for this and you'll save $22,000. And that's exactly what happened.
That's awesome, man.
So, that's part of the stuff that you have to be paying attention to. That it's not always about the dollar signs, about like, hey, we're really, and you talked to some of my sales guys before, and they're really passionate about what they do because we're helping people. That's the number one thing. We want to help it. We want to help the homeowner. That's number one. Number two, if we need to bend somebody's arm, insurance company, we will too. So because they're in business to make money, and they don't always just approve work that easy. You have to show them the damage. So that's where our little blue ocean is.
It's easy to see why you guys are one of the fastest growing roofing contractors in the Northeast. And one thing I want to talk to you about is there's a lot of contractors that have and it just kind of bounce off what you just said. They have some conflict, I'll use it that way, or maybe some disagreements between operations and sales. Traditionally sales are out there promising the world, and kind of operations has to bring people back down to their level. Can you speak to me a little bit about how you've been able to accomplish such synergy between your sales teams and your operations to provide such a great roof for your customers?
Yeah. So what I want, we still have those issues. Let me just clarify that. We still have to work on those things and make it better every day. But some of the things that have helped us a lot is we have the right guys, the right sales guys. I don't just hire any of them. And the reason is a lot of companies that I've seen before, they want to keep the sales guy completely separated from production because they're scared that the sales guys are going to be their competition. And they live in fear. So sales doesn't know what production is doing, right? And that's a big problem because if they don't know what really entails to build these things and they're only just signing deals, then I don't think they're bringing any value to the homeowner or to the company. So what we do is we make sure like all our sales guys, I can say like most of our sales guys can probably, if they have to, they'll probably will replace the roof themselves. They can do it. They know exactly how the roof is put on. So when they're talking to a homeowner and the homeowner is saying, hey, I want they're looking at gutter helmets, right? For example, this is a system that is only done by a company here called Gutter Helmet, right? And when you do a roof, you have to take them off and they get bent, they get destroyed. So they need to be replaced to the insurance company. So if this guy's, a lot of guys, when they didn't know that, they'll go out there, get the roof signed up, look at those gutters, and we always had to go on the back end trying to get the gutters, and the gutters don't look good. They look all bent, and the homeowner is now mad because they weren't knowledgeable to be able to tell the homeowner, hey, this is for this house, this type of gutters, we need to have the company gutter helmet come here, take those gutter helmets off. Once we replace the roof, they'll come back and put those on again. But only this company can do it. So little things like that, if you don't know as a sales guys, there's always going to be that conflict because, the roofers are going to, they're going to be mad and these guys are going to be mad. And you have to mix them together and make sure that your guys have the knowledge, the proper knowledge to be able to know that, what really takes, when the shingles are dropped on the ground, they're not going to get up on the roof by themselves. They know that. Okay. So they know that, if the roof is really steep and we don't see any steep charges on the ticket from the insurance company, they know that, right? They know what's a good product from a bad product. Now we're in an area in Northern Virginia and Connecticut where our industry is not like Texas or Colorado or Florida that, that you guys have roofers everywhere. There's less competition here, I will say. There's still a little bit in terms of insurance claims. The reason is a lot of people don't take the time to learn about these roofing systems, okay? And a lot of those roofing systems have been discontinued. They have factory recalls. They have, their sizings are different every 5 years. So if you don't know, and this happens a lot in Florida too, they do illegal repairs there all the time. You
Yes.
can't repair a tile roof, okay? So here in Virginia, so and you see it all the time. They go make a couple $1,000 and 2 trucks in the trucks and they get gone, right? And now that person lost $60,000 because they didn't, get the right person to fix their roof, and that's money they're losing, because that's either when they sell the house, they either sell it with the new roof or with their old illegally repaired roof, right? So in Virginia, I've been here since 2006. I'm sorry, 2001. So, and I work construction. I work in the new construction industry, so I know where all these new developments are that were built in the 2000 and 2000 all the way to 2010, right? So I know where all those are. One thing that we also do know is that these roofs most of them they're discontinued. They have factory recalls. They got granule loss problems. So we teach our guys not just the process themselves, but we also teach our sales guys to be very knowledgeable when it comes to this type of shingles. And this is like we are in a truck, having fun, but we look in our rooms like, hey, what type of roof that is? What is this roof? What is this roof? So because you got to know your craft. You got to focus on what's important here, which is this roof.
One of the when we come, in my claims care, we come on with roofing contractors, and I constantly hear the complaint when whether it be onboarding or as we continue to build our relationship about turnover with sales reps. And then we'll dive into them a little bit about, well, what kind of guys are you trying to find? How's your process working for you? Why are you going through so much turnover? And I'll hear something, and this is normally what I hear. I can't find anybody who knows how to sell roofing, who's been in roofing. And I think to myself, I'm like, are you training your guys? Are you actively going out there in the field, going to an install, showing them what's going on the install? Because are you just kind of trying to go through a classroom day for a couple of days, show them how to use a CRM, give them some business cards and send them out there on their way? Because there are a number of companies that do that. And I think that gives the reputation of the industry takes a hit, because not because of maybe being a bad sales rep or a bad person, they just don't know. I was talking with a guy who's based in Naples, and he was telling me, he said, I made promises to people that when I first started, I thought I was saying the right things. I was just trying to get the sale, but I didn't know. And I think that's where people, reputations start to take a hit. You may spend some more time and money and resources, contractors, training your people, but follow what Yilbert is saying here. Get your guys out there into the field to understand the install, and they will better understand how to sell to your clients, meet the expectations, showing them the expectations meet the reality of what they're going to expect. And Yilbert, that leads me to my next question for you. Obviously sales reps promising the world and not being able to deliver or is a problem in the industry. But, is there something that out there, you're out there every day, that you see in the industry as a whole, a trend that's happening or something you're seeing that you wish that you would like to be a part of changing? What do we need to improve as an industry immediately?
In terms of,
I'll give you an example. Deductibles. I believe that we should, as an industry, we need to police this harder. Deductibles are something that we need to work on, because you've got an inconsistent way that everybody is doing it. You got some people paying it, some people rolling it into interior, some people telling them don't pay it at all. That's an inconsistency and a problem in this industry. Is there anything else that maybe you see in the industry as a whole that your guys are competing against, that you have competition that are doing, that you think needs to change out there, man?
Well, that goes down to training your guys properly, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So, a deductible shouldn't be part of the negotiation. This is like a copay. You don't go to the doctor and you don't go to Kaiser. I don't know if you guys had Kaiser there, and tell them that you're not going to pay your deductible, but you want to get service, right? That it just doesn't work that way, and it's a very small fracture, and it's illegal not to collect it, right? Yes. So you have to collect it. What I tell the guys, we lose a lot of jobs based on that, and I'm willing to do that. because you're competing with two trucks and a truck, and you do have to bring the quality over quantity. Okay, you want to have the right customers. You know, I guess I could say that we do pick our customers. Okay, they also pick us, but we want to make sure that if there's guys out there that they think that they get a $20,000 check, they can get two trucks and a truck to do it for 10, and they keep $10,000. Not only they're committing insurance fraud, they can get a big problem. They're not. There's no way they're gonna get the same quality roof on, right? So this is some of those things that, to be honest, I don't know how you can fix it as an industry, but individually, in my team, is something that we don't want to negotiate ever. Okay, we want to make sure that the homeowner pays that, and the way to beat that is to be out front. You know, when you're doing that first pitch, I'm mentioning the deductible. They already know that the responsibility is going to be a deductible.
Absolutely.
Okay? So if they have a $5,000 deductible, that's your responsibility. If they have a $500 deductible, that's your only responsibility. Great, you're getting a $20,000 roof for $5,000, or a $20,000 roof for $500, right? So it shouldn't be a negotiable thing, but one thing there's different in this country from where I'm from is that if you drive too fast, they'll hit your pockets. Okay. If you drive drunk, they'll hit your pockets. Okay. So if they're losing money out there, they need to know that not the company alone is losing money. Okay. But it shouldn't even go to that. It shouldn't be negotiated at all. It's just, hey, this is part of the process. This is part of. I mean, it's an awesome package when you're selling a roof, a $20,000 roof for $500. Okay, if you can't get $500, then you're not really a salesman. Okay, so I think it's one of those things like. You can't sell $500 worth of, when you're giving them $20,000 worth of a product and actually just doing it not legally. If you actually do that, I mean, obviously there's ways where they get paid and then they're offered them a bonus or marketing bonus and things like that. But it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be, because that's destroying the company itself. Little by little, you're losing vital money that can be used to improve this business, and here we try to, if somebody calls me about a deductible, I'm hanging out.
Yeah. One of the things I've thought about is, right now it's a civil charge. There's a part of me, I believe in Texas, they've passed a law, I believe in Texas, to where it's a criminal charge. It's criminal not to collect the deductible. Now, who's enforcing that? I understand there's probably some gray area right there. But I think moving towards that is never a bad thing. You are committing insurance fraud, and when there's good people like your company and others who are telling people, you've got to pay this, and you've got a guy coming behind and saying, no, I'm not going to take that $1,000 or $1,500 out of pocket. For some of these lower income areas, it puts good quality roofers at a disadvantage. And I promise you this, that $1,500 is coming back to bite you in the ass somewhere. It may not be on the front end, but it will be on those extra charges on the back end that individual is going to find. And people don't seem to understand that. They want to go with the lowest price per se. Well, $1,000, my man, for a $20,000 roof. What else do you want? I mean, now you want it for free? Come on. You're going to get free, and you're going to get exactly what you deserve for it, in my opinion. But I think you're right. Helping somebody right from the beginning and making sure that expectation is definitely there is the way to go. I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah, absolutely. Set the expectation from day one. Don't tell the homeowner we're going to do the roof next week when it's going to take a month. Tell them a month and a half, and then do it in a month. They'll be so happy. I
couldn't agree with you more. So you guys, as I said earlier in the podcast, you guys are moving into a kind of some digital marketing, right? I've seen some of your videos, and they're incredible. Can you speak to what kind of brand you guys want to have over there, United? I mean, when people think of you, what do you want them to think of?
The best roofers out there, the best construction company out there. Well, we don't just only do roofing, but I feel like when we go out there and put a roof on and tell you, hey, Patrick, we're gonna do a free inspection on your house. We're gonna identify the damage here. If you have enough damage, we're gonna walk you through this process. Okay, you're gonna get a roof paid by the insurance company. We're gonna upgrade you to this material. Okay, and we go ahead and do all those things. There's no reason why you shouldn't trust me for any future projects. Okay, so I feel like the roofing industry, it's just like Santa Claus. We go through the roof. It's just we go through the roof first. We do a good job.
I like that. We're going Santa Claus, man.
So we get the roof. They give us an opportunity to show them what are we capable of, and we do a phenomenal job. And now, any of our other products that we offer, we do solar panels. We do, we install windows. We do the gutters. We do the siding. We do the fascia. So anything on the exterior of the house, we're able to do it. So I just feel like the roof in itself is an opportunity, a free opportunity they're giving us to show them what we're capable of doing, so we can continue being that construction company. That, because again, before I got in the roofing company, a roofing business alone, I used to be a general contractor, kitchens, bathrooms, all these things, right? And it's so hard for somebody to trust you with the $50,000 kitchen if they've never done business with you, okay? Or a $20,000 bathroom if they've never done business with you. It comes down to be able to build that reputation that, hey, if you give me a first check, we're not gonna run away to another state, okay? Like some guys do. So
yeah, that's true.
The roof itself gives us that opportunity to get in front of somebody and show the stuff that we do, and I think that's the biggest opportunity we have. But what I want people to feel when they call United Roofing is that we don't only just do roofing itself. We're trying to show you what we're capable of doing through the roofing platform, because we do over 600 roofs every year. At this point, we want to do about 1,000. This is why we link up with you guys, right?
Right, man. We'll talk about that. I want to. So yeah, maybe let's jump into that, man. I mean, because we've been very fortunate to work with United and been able to see some of the work that you guys are doing from My Claims Care. Can you talk a little bit about why you got involved with My Claims Care? What are what hurdles and struggles that we're helping you guys out with? Because it's something that a lot of roofing contractors are dealing with across the country.
Yeah. So, a couple of different things. If we do $5 million, which we did in the year, I have to come out with like $3 million to get this work done. Okay. So if I sell 10, I got to come out with a couple $1 million to get this done. Now, when you're a contractor, especially if you're a roofing contractor and you try to get finance or regular methods, or the bank, they just like, they do the cross on you. They're like, nah, get away. Hey, you guys are, 90% of you guys are going out of business, right? So it's really tough to get finance for these companies, right? Now, at this industry also, I started with $200, okay, my business. And you do a job, you do it right, you get paid, do the next one, you're the next one, you go one by one, right? Until you can do, 10 in a week, and then you can do 20 in a week, right? So if you're willing to spend the time, and I'm talking years, then you can scale your company without no finance, right? You one job at a time, the good old way, right? But it gets to a point where you're dealing with insurance companies, and they love to hold the money as long as possible. Okay, I don't know why, but that's just the way to operate, and everybody knows that in the industry. They hold the money forever. Okay, so for me to be able to go to a higher scale, I needed to partner with a company like you guys, not just because the back end money that you guys provide, which is awesome, but when COVID hit our office, we started working remotely, right? So what happened, as soon as my AR gets to 800,000, I hire an AR manager, and then I hired 2 of them, and then they were working from home. Okay. So the intensity wasn't there. I can just see my AR account just going, scratching $1 million. And I'm like, come on, guys, we need to, we need to get going. So it was just when COVID hit, that kind of messed up a lot of stuff in that sense because I was trying to stay away from, partner. I don't need to give any points to anybody to be able to operate. I can just do it this way. But what we find out is we go legal to try to get paid. It takes forever. You almost never see your money. It's a mess, right? What you guys bring is not only the money. You guys have this back end, which I don't know who Amanda is back there, but I already had I already had a homeowner. It's like, oh, Amanda was amazing. I was like, yes, yes, she was, right? She called, she make sure that the homeowner feel at ease and they feel like, hey, they're in good hands, and they walk them through the process, and they're there all the way through, final collection, right?
Right.
And I think for me, you guys were, I was like, this is too good to be true, right? I was a little like, you sure? Like, this guy's trying to scam me, right? That was my first thoughts, right?
I got
honest, right? So I'm like, but so far, everything is being what you guys said, which, I think I don't want to even tell too much of my competition because I think it's going to be, I wish it was my little secret, right? Because this is going to allow us to scale and go to these big commercial jobs and be able to, get them done without having the stress of AR,
Well, like you said, I mean, I think you spoke to it. As you grow your business from, let's say, 10 million to 20 million, what inevitably happens for that contractor is you have an ever-growing AR because you're working insurance. So let's just say you have a 120-day cycle on those insurance claims. That's still going to end up being 500,000 to 700,000 that's sitting out there.
Yeah.
And, we talk to countless roofing contractors who make this mistake financially, and they go, well, that money is collectible. I'm going to get it. I say, okay, well, once you get that money, there's another 700,000 that's sitting out there. You can't ever catch your own tail because the entire system is broken.
Yeah.
So I think what we try to accomplish with companies like yours is if you are a growing company, United is going to grow and expand without having any cash restraints, always in the black. I was talking to my business partner, Anthony, about you guys. I'm excited to see what you are able to do because you're going to grow faster than your competition. You're going to be able to put on roofs faster than your competition after approval. And then you don't have those back office costs that weigh you down of having to hire some AR manager for $70,000 a year. And they've got no attachment to your money. It's not their money. I mean, they're working to get it quicker, but come on, if they don't, okay, they're not, no skin off their back. They're just waiting for a paycheck. If we can get rid of that, man, and help you guys scale and grow, that's what we're talking about. That's a win for everybody because the more roofs that you put on, that's the more opportunity for us to make money and the more money that you're making out there.
And that's what we're all trying to do. And I think you guys, whoever came up with this idea, Anthony, cool, smart guy, because I'm pretty sure you guys come from the background of collection, right?
We do.
So I'm pretty sure you guys look at some of this tickets like, man, if I would have been involved from day one in this, we would have got to this point, right?
Yep.
We would not have this problem of me trying to sue them and all these things, right? Because we would have been involved from day one. And you guys saw a problem and are fixing it now. And I think this is probably the number one killer of contractors right here. Because like you said, my third year, I had $500,000 in collectible. We got them, and the next year $700,000, and then the next year $1 million, and then I'm sure if this wouldn't happen right here, we're probably in 1.5, right? Mm-hmm. And then just keeps growing, and then you're just not gonna stop growing, but your AR is just gonna keep getting bigger. And if you hire, like you said, $75,000 a year person, they're just like looking at that like that's not their problem. They're just gonna do what they can do every day. And especially now when people are working remotely, they gotta go walk their dogs 6 times instead of 2 this time. So.
Yeah, I hate that about people working remotely right now. Everybody's got I call people dogs barking in the background. Everyone's doing their own thing. Like, oh man, there's something to be said for working in the same office together, man. But like I say, we're looking forward to the relationship, and I know Anthony loves you guys so much and working with you. I want to kind of turn the table into your goals personally and that of United for the rest of 2021. And more specifically, because of the success that you guys have had, I want to talk about how you reach those goals that you have, because there are a lot of roofing contractors who watch this and they go, I got goals of doing 10 million. I got goals of doing 20 million, but you guys are doing it. So can you talk about the goals and then what the difference is between just having the goal and making it happen like you are?
So I think one of the things that I practice a lot with the guys is we get our big goal. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So, but when you have, everybody has different mentality. Okay. Some people cannot see it. They see, I tell somebody, you're going to make $1 million for this company this year. And they look at it and they're like, oh, wow, $1 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got to break it down for them. It's like, hey, let me tell you what you got to do to make $1 million. So I break it down monthly, weekly, and daily. What should be their daily goal to be able to reach this thing? So, they're not just like, I'm trying to hit a home run for $1 million this year. No, you have a daily goal. Okay. And for us, I tell my guys, you want to be $1 million producer, give me my 2. What that means is 2 a week. Okay. Which is very doable in this industry. Okay. Very simple. If average home is $15,000, okay, and you do 2 a week, and that's 8 a month, you do the math. That's $1 million. That's like 1.2 million. Okay, so that's exactly how I break it down for this guys, because now their goal is now going out there. Oh, $1 million, right? They get frustrated about that. They don't see themselves on track, and not only that, every month we're looking at these numbers and we're seeing where we're messing up, and it has to be a constantly. You have to be coaching these guys every day.
Yes.
People get out there and they get beat up on these doors and they get beat up by the homeowners and they get on the roof and they do all this work and the homeowner decides to go with his brother after we did all the work, right? So they get beat up and they tend to. It goes back to a question you asked me right now, like why there's such a big turnaround in the industry, right?
Yeah.
One, you live in a guy out there doing everything on his own. Okay, he gets out there, get his butt kicked every day, and there's only so much somebody can take until they say, you know what, I'm better off doing something else, right? Because you're not coming in every day and giving that support and like, hey, that happens. Let's move on to the next thing. Let's keep going. This is what happened. Bring those points up every week, right? And the other reason why that's such a big turnaround, I think people need to be more patient with their sales guys. In terms of, obviously we have goals and we have our core values that we have to follow and die for, right? But if there's guys out there that I have sales that they didn't do anything the first 2 months, and I know I'm probably gonna get criticized on this, like, oh man, if they're not good, get them out, right? I'm not that type of guy. I give the opportunity to people because, again, you get paid commission, okay? So I had kids, they're 20 years old, and they stick with the company for like 6 months, and eventually it clicks on it, right? Mm-hmm. And they're unstoppable, okay? And I feel like, man, you can't just, it goes back to that Sid Biscuit saying, you can't throw a whole life away just because they're banged up a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, and some of these kids that just need that coaching, they need that that pat in the back to like, look, you're showing up every day. And that to me is like enough. Yeah. Okay. If you show up,
I'll say I take that, and we had to let somebody go not too long ago. And I was talking with Anthony, who's my business partner. And, I told Anthony this. I said, it's 100% my fault that things didn't work out. And Anthony was good to me, and he was kind. He said, well, Patrick, they were this, they were lazy, they weren't sure. No, it's my fault. I hired that person. I didn't give them what they needed. I missed the mark somewhere personally. And I see a lot of business owners, and you seem like this kind of way. Hey, listen, man, I'm going to give you everything I got as an owner. I'm going to make sure you have every opportunity to succeed. Now, if you don't take that, that's one thing. But I look at all the time that people have not worked out in our company, and I blame myself, number one, because no matter what, it's me. Whether it be the training I gave them, I didn't motivate them in the right way. I didn't learn enough about them as a person to figure out what was going on in their life and how I could bring them to be their best. It's not always the sales rep's fault or the production manager. It's me as an owner. And that a personal accountability has helped us to raise our level of service. And it sounds like it's done the same for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, obviously, for us, is we can deal with you not getting the sale sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
We can't take it when you're not showing up on time, or you're not showing effort. All I need is effort from you, and I can turn anybody into a dream sales guy, because we've done it before. We do it every day, and it's amazing how, like, they look good, they sound good, they look like they're gonna be amazing, and there's as soon as they get a couple of doors shut in their face, they're not as good anymore.
Right.
They fall off, and then the guy that comes in is kind of quiet, and it doesn't look like it's gonna be a good salesperson. They end up being the best because they have more ethics. They show up every day. We tell them we're gonna be in this neighborhood every day. They go there and they show up, and and when you're around other people that are making stuff happen, and that's one of the questions you told me is like, hey, the industry has a standard. They get somebody on the truck, they train them, and they throw them out to the wolves, right?
Yep, they do.
That's kind of like the industry standard. That's how I got trained. Okay, but not everybody's gonna pick this up the way I did, or the way some guys do. Some guys are good and they can pick it up, and they don't. I remember having a record in this company. I don't think nobody has beat it, which is I started my training on Wednesday, watched videos, training Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The owner pulls out a $250 car and says, whoever gets the most leads and gets on roofs and put them on Acculinks gets this car. This was my first day. I wanted to get on the field, right? Yeah. So it was my first day. So I go like, let's go. I took off from that Saturday meeting at 10 a.m. I put 10 jobs in the books that day. 10.
Damn.
10 jobs, all like, and they were in different directions. I remember having a guy who was like driving the truck and kind of like was teaching me this stuff. Omar, he has his own company now, but he dropped me off at home at 10 at night, like
Great,
that day. So, but I was like, that's the type of intensity that I'm like, one all over a $250 gas car, right? So,
Yep.
It doesn't take much to motivate me.
I love it, man. I love it. So, one of the things that I tell our guys to do is if you're in a slump as a sales, so first I'll say some of the sales reps out there, one of the things that will distinguish whether you're good or bad at your job is your mentality. And here's how you need to take the temperature and grade yourself if you're a sales rep, in my opinion. So I tell my guys, if I talk to you at 6 o'clock, your days wind down, whatever it might be, and you're in a good mood and you're happy, and I'm like, well, how many sales did you get today? None, man, none. And you're in a good mood. Mentally, you're in a good spot. And the next day I talk to you and you sold the hell out of the day. You had a great day and you're still mentally in the same spot. That person who has enough confidence in themselves to say, okay, I'm the same man today if I don't sell anything as I am tomorrow if I sell the shit out of this thing. That's the kind of person and the consistency I want on my team. When you have people that start out, I'm going to go get her, they get those doors slammed in their face, and all of a sudden they're down on themselves. The shoulders start to come forward a little bit, and that's when I know I have a problem. We're not saving people's lives here, whether it be roofs or selling my claims care. You got to say, okay, I'm the same man, the same woman today, whether I sell or I don't sell, and I'm going to be confident in that person. That's how, in my opinion, you can take the temperature of where you're at as a sales individual.
Absolutely. And, some of those guys, they're like a cancer. Like there's negative guys that they come around and I lost my thought there. But when in the industry, you put them in teams. So what we do is I grab a bunch of successful sales guys. Okay. And we work infrastructure on where we're going to be at, what areas are we going to be hitting. And I put all of these guys that they're new guys with them every day, 10 a.m. We're in the neighborhood, okay?
Yep.
All the winter gets dark. So when they're around successful people, they get better. They get good. It's just when you put in with somebody negative, or you put in with some old guy who, he's already just
down.
You're not gonna create good guys in this industry, and I think that's the number one thing. Mix them up with the good guys. Have an infrastructure of them coming in every day. Because one of the things I see a lot is, sales guys, they do whatever they want in this industry. They come and go, they just bring checks, right?
And that's true.
And I'm guilty of that. My first few years, yeah, the guys were just bringing checks all the time to me. But this is my baby. This is my company. Okay,
Yep.
We need to do it this way because it's not just because I want it done this way or because I want just so bad to be successful. It's because if I'm not successful, all you guys relied on me. It's funny how like it used to be just me. Now I got 9 sales guys in this area. And now I feel responsibility not for just those 9 guys, but their families, okay, and my roofers, okay. And if we slacking off, okay, we're not doing our families any good, okay. So you have to have them know that, look, we run this way, we're wolf pack, we got each other's back, but we work, we out there every freaking day, like that's the number one thing. If you're out there every day, you're gonna get a house. Like people will come up to you and be like, "Hey, what are you doing in my neighborhood?" And you're like, "I'm doing roofs." It's like, "Boom, I know."
No, you gotta do it.
And then now you gotta, right?
You gotta
So it happens all the time. Like I tell the guys, I told Rich, just like, Rich, I was like, we went to this neighborhood. It was a nice neighborhood, big houses. We got a couple of guys shut down, right?
Yep.
So I told Rich, like, let's go there and let's go fly a drone, right? So we get a drone out. Here comes the first one. What are you guys doing? It's like, oh, we're gonna take an overview picture of the whole neighborhood. So we can go back in the office and check out this roofs. I was like, oh, that's how you guys check the roof? Boom, we got the first one. Just standing on the street, just flying a drone, right? So, being out there is key to success in this thing.
So I think you guys are going to have an immense amount of success. You, Rich, the entire crew over there, and in the years to come. We're excited to be a part of it. Can you give your information, how somebody can contact you personally, just at the end right here as we wrap up, so that if anyone wants to reach out to you about the company, roofing, in general, that they can reach you?
Absolutely. They can either go into our website, which is unitedroofingcontractor.com, singular, or they can just call my cell phone, 703-496-8729. Again, 703-496-8729. Have your guy put little numbers there.
We can work that out. Yo, man, I look forward to it, man. Anything you need at all from me, my team, myself, Anthony, we're always available to you. You guys are incredible. Love the work that you're doing, and it's easy to see why you guys are where you're at. People like you, and I really appreciate your time today. Thank you.
No, thank you, Patrick. You guys are awesome too. So,
man, you're the man, buddy. I'll see you later. Okay.
Thank you.
Later, brother.
Take care.